Yeah, what are we talking about?
Everything.
All right.
All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Chris Pena, executive editor of NBCLatino.com.
All right, now what goes on at NBCLatino.com?
What we do is we tell the Hispanic American story through Hispanic American voices in English, and that's really a key for us to really focus on the Latino community and the language that they prefer, which happens to be English.
Yes, Hispanics were a very big part of Obama's win. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. The polls are showing 71 to 75% Latino support for President Obama. You also see tremendous support about the African American community and the Asian community, and in these swing states like Florida and Nevada and Colorado and Virginia, it's believed that Latinos put the president over the top.
What were your overall thoughts on Obama versus Romney and the whole election, from the debates up until Obama actually won the thing?
It was rocky.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Mitt Romney has run before and unsuccessfully for the Republican Party and lost out to John McCain in 2008. And here he comes again with a monster money machine. And then we had a Citizens United ruling from the Supreme Court, which opened up these floodgates to Karl Rove for $300 million outside of traditional fundraising machine, and it was just a wild, wild west out there. And I'm glad I lived in New York, because if I lived in one of these swing states, I would never turn on my TV.
Yes. Did you see Karl Rove trying to explain himself on why, or just about Obama winning the election and why he spent so much money? And
there's probably not another person who had more at stake.
Yes.
On Tuesday than Mitt Romney and President Obama, apart from Karl Rove. He had a lot of very rich people, not kind of rich people, really rich people, who gave him and trusted him with $300 million, and in the end, their guy didn't win.
So it's safe to say that he's going to owe a lot of favors on the back end, or something's going to happen.
Well, as the president said in another context, that Karl Rove is one of these people who's going to have some explaining to do.
Yes.
He has to go and kind of talk to these folks and say, explain what went wrong.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Cool. Let's get a chance to know you better. Who, musically, who are you listening to? What is some of your favorite artists and your music MP3 player?
So it's kind of crazy because I'm Dominican. I grew up listening to merengue music.
Okay.
And that's in my blood, merengue and bachata music. But then I grew up in Long Island and here in New York at a time when Run DMC was coming of age and the Beastie Boys were coming of age, and so I actually grew up with some great rap and hip hop music, and then I took a detour to Texas. And I lived in Houston for 15 years. So believe it or not, and I hope nobody holds this against me, I listened to country music and survived, and still to this day, there's a little country music in my iPod. And then having come back to New York as an older person now, I run the gamut.
Wow.
It's an interesting mix, but I tell you, karaoke is always a fun time because everything's on the table like that.
But don't worry, I won't judge you. I have a friend that lived in Nashville, and he caught on to country music because that's all they play on the radios down there. So I get
it. Does country music?
Yes, and we love Darius, right?
Yeah.
We love him. All right, cool. Are you into sports at all? Are you a New York Knicks or?
So I actually played at Madison Square Garden when I was in high school.
Okay.
I played at Cardozo High School in Bayside. Shout out to Ron Niclario, the best coach of all time.
Yes.
We finished in the top 8 in the city the 2 years I was on varsity. I was the Minuteman.
Okay.
Which my role was, I would always say to the coach, "Hey, coach, can I come in?"
Yes.
He'd say, "Yeah, in a minute, man."
Well,
and I never get in.
You and I have a lot in common because I was a starting Minuteman in high school.
No, but I love basketball. And I love all sports. Baseball. I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm a Mets fan. I'm gonna admit that.
Good luck with those Knicks, man. I mean, I was looking at the team this year. They have an all-star team, but they need to get it together somehow, some way.
Well, last year they had a great team too, but the shortened season didn't help, and they never quite gelled. They made a run at the end, right?
Yes.
I think this is our year.
They did look good against I am a Miami Heat fan. I will admit that because I live in Florida.
Yeah.
They looked really good against the Miami Heat. So I'm thinking that they could at least give them a run at the end of the year in the playoffs, or at least if they get to the playoff. Maybe we see the Knicks versus the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That would be amazing.
And we could place a friendly wager right there.
We will place a friendly wager because I think this is the year the Knicks win it all for the first time since the day I was born.
Really?
Literally.
Wow, you're the first. Okay.
1973.
And you know, some of the crew downstairs, you'll see, they're diehard Knicks fans. They hadn't even had the courage to say that to me. So you are really.
It's been a long time. Not as long as the Cubs though, and I lived in Chicago for 3 years.
Yes.
They're up to 108 years. We're not there.
Cool. Are you on Twitter at all? Can we follow you?
On Twitter, follow me at Pena Christian, PenaChristian, at NBC Latino.
Yes.
#1 source for Latino news and lifestyle content online, on your iPhone, on your iPad.
Wow.
And we're part of the big NBC News family.
I shall follow you.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.